Hare Krishna. I know the beautiful Abhishekam of Giriraj Govardhan is going on. I know that a lot of devotees are asking to do Abhishek. Everyone will get the opportunity to do Abhishek. After the main Abhishek, we will have the flower Abhishek and everyone will get the opportunity to offer flowers to Giriraj Govardhan. So just give us a few minutes.
1 minute. Take some plate of this one, triple up.
रखेंगे फिर ऑफरिंग के पास समोर से बाहेर
Welcome you all to this amazing Govardhan festival. As you see, we had Abhishek, we had a beautiful Abhishek, full Abhishek of Giriraj Govardhan. And I know that a lot of devotees are curious about their turn of Abhishek, so yes, that will also happen. Right now, offering is done for Giriraj Govardhan, as you can see. And right after offering, we'll start doing Damodar prayers. As you all know, there's a most sublime prayer, especially in the month of Kartik. And during Damodar prayer, everyone will get an opportunity to offer ghee lamp to Giriraj Govardhan and Radha Damodar and Gopishan Vallabh. And while we are doing Damodar and ghee lamp offering, we'll also begin the circumambulation of Giriraj Govardhan, which is the most auspicious activity we are able to do because of the mercy of Kulavera Prabhu, that he brought his amazing Govardhan, which are very merciful. And while we are circumambulating, devotees will also be given flowers to offer flower to Giriraj Govardhan. So we are trying to do multiple things at the same time, so we need your support and cooperation. So thank you for your patience. Once again, we'll continue Kirtan as offering is going on. After that, we'll do Damodarastakam and Aarti to Giriraj Govardhan. We'll also start doing Hilap offering as well as circumambulation, also flower offering. And around 8-ish, 8:05, we'll have a Katha on Giriraj Govardhan. Hare Krishna. We'll continue the Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We are starting.
We are starting down the system prayers, and we can also prepare to start doing the offering. Hilap offering.
ड्राई आइटम्स అన్ని కి అందులో बाद में తర్వాత ఆర్త అయినాక బట్ ఇక్కడే ఉండండి एक बार
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. One more time. Hare Krishna. Once again, wish you all a very happy Govardhan festival. Right, everyone? Got a chance to offer Healan? Right? Okay. Now, first, we are going to continue the Kirtan and also we are going to start circumambulating and also everyone will get the opportunity to offer flower to Giriraj Govardhan. They are right here. But because of the limitation of space, okay, I'll repeat. Because of the limitation of space, first we'll request all the Matajis to do the circumambulation. Okay, and there's enough room for one set of group. So we'll do first Matajis and Prabhujis. Any Prabhuji who think they are Mataji, they can join. Okay? I have to say that because a lot of people still would join. So we'll first do Matajis. We all go in a which direction? Clockwise direction. Hare Krishna. And our people are also here.
मुझे लगा और कौन हो सकता है आर्टिस्ट हमारा
We never saw taking it up. No.
Just blocking, everyone is touching.
We do 3 times parikrama. If everyone does 3 times parikrama, we can request others to do it. Thank you for helping and doing everything. Mataji, thank you for assisting her and getting everything. Next week.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare की प्रभुपाद की
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक भक्ति सिद्धांत सती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। संवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। नवाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। जैसे श्री गो गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। गोवर्धन फेस्टिवल की जय। कार्तिक महोत्सव की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। संवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Raj Govardhan ki jai. Hare Krishna. I hope you all had amazing time till now.
लाइव स्ट्रीम चल रहा है ये
You all have a good time.
तो पूरा इसीलिए इसको या तो माता जी को एक बार या आप
Are you all having
नहीं
fun?
बंद कर
And this is spiritual fun, right?
टेस्ट ये
In typical celebration, what all things happen?
हाँ ले ले हाँ
We have music, right? We had worship. We glorified about whose celebration we are having, and then we have amazing prasad, right? So next activity is going to have the glorification of Giriraj, Govardhan and Kartik month, and after that we'll have about 8:50 to 9 we'll start the prasad.
yesterday it happened
So
Sri Gaurangi 45
today's discourse on Giriraj Govardhan is given by Sri Gaurangi Devi. She has given multiple classes in the past, and for her qualification she is calling for telecom engineer. She is Sunday school principal as well, so all the kids be aware. Okay, so no shaitani, no naughtiness, because the principal is watching. So let's welcome Sri Gaurangi by 3 times loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
इतको बने बड़ा सुंदर Take that at last. Which one?
Hare Krishna. How many of you honestly want to sit here for a class?
हरि बोल
Or did we want the वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सागणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सागणा गणिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्. Okay, so I know it's a working day, so we'll go right. First of all, I'm welcome you all to Govardhan Festival, Govardhan Puja Festival. Thank you so much for coming. There are a lot of devotees sitting in the audience, and I seek their blessings. Please bless me. Actually, when Shyam Kishore Prabhuji gave me this class, I told him, Prabhuji, I am really not qualified to be speaking on such a high topic as Giriraj Govardhan. But he said one very nice point. He said, Mataji, the topic itself is very elevated. And on top of that, he said, after this class, you will also develop a relationship with Giriraj Govardhan. So that is my motive, and I seek your blessings that, may I speak something that is pleasing to Sri Guru Gaurangi and all the assembled devotees here as well as online, and that I may be able to develop a relationship with Giriraj Govardhan. So please bless me. So going right away into the topic, there are some Leelas of Krishna which are widely known. Whether you belong to ISKCON or you are not quote-unquote ISKCON devotee, still there are some Leelas which are widely known. So anybody would like to say some Leelas that are very famous? Any very famous Leelas of Krishna? Makanchor Leela, yes. Makanchor Leela, if you are not even part of ISKCON, everybody knows Makanchor Leela, right? Second, Kaliya Mardan Leela. How many of us knew Kaliya Mardan Leela before coming to ISKCON, right? Then Damodar Leela. This is one Leela which ISKCON has made more famous. By doing the Damodar Ashtakam and lighting ghee lamp, Damodar Leela has become very famous. And of course, Govardhan Leela. Govardhan is one festival which is a very happy festival. You know, so many festivals we have in our Sanatan Dharma and in ISKCON. But Govardhan Puja is an extra special festival. You know why? Because every festival there is fasting and then feasting. How many of you are fasting today? No, not even one hand. Nobody is fasting today. So Govardhan Puja, there is no need to fast. It's feasting. So that is a very special festival, a very happy festival with the kirtan we just had and all the dancing around Giriraj Govardhan. Everybody felt happiness and joy in their heart, right? It's a very, very, very happy festival, and we should be thankful that we sitting here in ISKCON Farmington Hills, we were able to do parikrama of Giriraj Govardhan. So it is mercy. Now, let us start the class by reciting the Pranam Mantra of Giriraj Govardhan. Would you all like to recite with me? Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhan Namine Ashesh Klesh Nashaya Paramananda Daine. So let us try to understand the Pranam Mantra of Girirajji. First line is very self-explanatory. Namaste Girirajaya. We are offering our obeisances to Giriraj, who is the king of mountains. Namaste Girirajaya. Shri Govardhan Namine. Your name is Govardhan. Now we'll try to spend a little time on this line. Shri Govardhan Namine. Why is he called Govardhan? There are many reasons why Girirajji is called Govardhan. Now Govardhan means it's, Sandhi, which is joining. So two words are there, Go and Vardhan. So Vardhan means nourishment and Go means cows, right? So because you nourish the cows, that is why your name is Govardhan. Now cows are so important for us also, right? Because we all aspire to go to a place which is called Goloka, which is the abode of Krishna, which is also the place where cows dwell and cows are worshipped. And Krishna loves the cows, and Girirajji, Govardhanji, is nourishing the cows. So Krishna loves Govardhan. Then Go also stands for Gopas. So Govardhanji actually also nourishes the Gopas, because Govardhan is a playground for the Gopas, right? Then Govardhan also nourishes the Gopis, right? Go also stands for Gopis. Now, Gopis had so many wonderful pastimes on Giriraj Govardhan, right? So, like the famous Danakeli pastime, everybody knows the famous Danakeli pastime. What happens there? So actually, Danakeli pastime is where Krishna and his friends, they dress up as tax collectors, okay? And they tell the Gopis, they stop the Gopis, before you pass from here, you have to give me tax. So that is a very beautiful pastime that happens. Now, a little on this pastime. This Danakeli pastime happens in two places. One is Barsana and one is Govardhan. First time it happens in Barsana. So we all know Brahmaji. You know, Brahmaji, he manifests as the mountains because he wanted to see and feel the lotus feet of all the devotees on his head. And then the next mountain that is right next to it is the Vilas mountain. Now there is a passage, a narrow passage between the Brahma mountains and the Vilas mountains, and that is called the Sankari Khor. Okay, so I just took a picture of the Sankari Khor. This is the passage between the Brahma mountains and the Vilas mountains, and the Danakeli pastime first happens here in Barsana. And of course, everybody knows the Danaghati, which is on Govardhan, and this pastime happens on Govardhan as well. Okay, and Danaghati is very significant for us because that's where Yatra starts. Okay. So I just took a picture of the Danghati temple on Govardhan Puja Day. You can all see it's totally crowded. Okay. Sorry. Okay, then coming back to the second line itself, Govardhan Namine. So Girirajji nourishes the cows, Girirajji nourishes the gopas, Girirajji nourishes the gopis. Now, Go also stands for senses and Goswamis. So Girirajji, Goswamis are the one who are trying to control their senses. So on Girirajji, on top of some place in Girirajji, there will be some Goswami sitting there and trying to control their senses so that they can serve Giriraj Govardhan, in turn serve Radha and Krishna. So Govardhan also nourishes the Goswamis. And of course, the last reason, Go also nourishes us because we are trying to serve Krishna. So we are also trying to control our senses. And when we are trying to do so, how Girirajji supports us? He supports us by letting us to not deviate and focus on our devotion. So Girirajji also nourishes all of us. Okay. So that is the two lines of the mantra, pranam mantra of Girirajji. Now coming to the third line. The third line, so of course, this is Govardhan Namine. Govardhan nourishes the cows, nourishes the cowherd boys, nourishes the cowherd girls, nourishes the saintly devotees, and nourishes us. Now, there is also one more reason, which is increase in the number of gopis. So how increase in number of gopis? When we serve Giriraj Govardhan, then there is a possibility that we can enter into their Nitya Leela. And when we enter into their Nitya Leela, what will happen? We might get a form of a gopi. So Girirajji also lets an increase in the number of gopis. Now coming to the third line, which is third and fourth line, which is Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Daine. Klesha means hurdles, miseries, right? So we know what are the three miseries that we all have: Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. When we worship Giriraj Govardhan, in his pranam mantra itself it says, Ashesha Klesha Nashaya. All the kleshas that we have, whether it is by our own mind and body, whether it is by another living entity, or whether it is through natural forces, Girirajji helps remove all the kleshas from our life. And then, what does he give? He gives Paramananda Daine. Param Anand. How many of us can survive an activity in which you are not getting anand, you're not getting taste? How many of us can say we can survive that activity for a long time? Is it possible? Maybe it is possible for some, for most of the people. We need taste, we need happiness in an activity to continue it for long. So even for our Krishna consciousness, we need taste, we need happiness in all the activities that we are doing. You know, sometimes we, when I was talking to so many Matajis, we always come across one point where it says that the first year after initiation, or the first year in which we came to bhakti, it was the most relishable. It was where I felt the most joy. And what happens after that? After a few years, that joy, that relishness, that it comes to a little point of stagnation, right? Why? I'll just try to give an analogy. It happens with everybody. Why is that joy, that taste is not there? So, have you ever experienced a new store opening or a new scheme opening, especially in banks? Huh? What do they do in the beginning? Discounts. A store opens, 60% discount, 50% discount. You'll get a lot of discount. This 1 week, you'll get a lot of discounts. Also with bank, open a new checking account or savings account, you'll get $500 credited or you'll get a lot of points. And what happens after a few months or that thing has gone down, that fever has gone down, what happens? Then there is everything normal. So in bhakti also, same thing happens. The first arti that we attended, the first kirtan that we attend, the first time we take Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the association of devotees, or the first 16 rounds that we did, the first Mangal Arti we attended, the first Janmashtami that we attended, or the first Govardhan Puja that we attended. Just try to remember that first thing that you did. Wasn't there more joy? Then, dhire dhire, niche. Why? Because Krishna also gives us lot of discounts in our first year of bhakti. First of everything, Krishna also gives us. Abhi, you need it. You have to be given discounts and then we have to earn it. Okay? But with Giriraj ji, if we worship and we surrender ourselves to Giriraj ji, he promises Paramananda Daine. So every day will be like the first day of Krishna consciousness. Okay? Now let us try to see how this Giriraj Leela is so important. There are 335 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Out of those 335 chapters, there are 90 chapters in the 10th canto itself. Out of those 90 chapters, 40 chapters have been dedicated to Vraj Leela. And out of those 40 chapters, 4 chapters are completely on Govardhan Leela. I think 24, 25, 26, 27. Yes. I don't remember numbers. You Mataji. So I made a note of this point. So 24, 25, 26, and 27. These are the 4 chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam which completely talk about Govardhan Leela. So in the 24th chapter, Krishna tells how to worship Govardhan. In the 25th chapter, Krishna actually lifts Govardhan. In the 26th chapter, there is feedback from all the Vrajvasis. Krishna is so nice. He did so many things. Our Krishna lifted Govardhan, and there was all that reasoning that was happening, how Krishna lifted Govardhan. And finally, in the last 27th chapter, there is Indra, where he comes and begs forgiveness. So I thought I'll just share this, how important Govardhan Leela is. Now, coming to who is Govardhan? I'm sorry, in interest of time, I'm going a little fast. Who is Govardhan? Today morning, His Grace Rohini Nandan Prabhu gave a very nice Srimad Bhagavatam class and he covered this verse. So we will not recite it, but you can all make a note of it and go home and recite it. It's 10:21:18. The meaning, anybody in the audience would like to recite? Yes, Govardhan Hill is the best. I was hearing a class by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, and Maharaj says, who is the best servant? He makes a point. How would you classify a best servant? So Maharaj says, a servant who is serving his master, and while serving the master, derives immense pleasure. And by his service, the master is also getting immense pleasure. That is the best servant. So sometimes we also want to be servant of the Lord. We also want to be serving devotees, right? So sometimes we find pleasure in service, but sometimes we are like, we are tired, or I didn't sleep properly, or I skipped. It is there in back of our mind. Then we are not the best of servant, because when Giriraj is serving Radha and Krishna, Giriraj is serving the cows, Giriraj is serving the gopas and the gopis, he is deriving immense pleasure. That's why Giriraj Govardhan is the best of servant. And that's why he's called Hari Das Varya. Now let us try to see a little on the origin of Sri Giriraj ji. So, sorry, in the rush of hour, I forgot to mention that today's class, I have taken points from Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, there is Garga Samhita, which is available online on the internet. You can all read it. It's available in English as well as Hindi. And there's a lot of happiness when you read it in Hindi. So I have taken references from Garga Samhita as well. So in Garga Samhita, the origin of Sri Giriraj ji is mentioned. So how did Giriraj ji come to Golok first? So one time, Radharani and Krishna were sitting, and they had just ended their Ras Leela, and Radharani goes to Krishna and says, so Krishna, are you happy and pleased with my love? Are you happy and pleased with my service? Are you happy with the gopis? Are you happy with this Golok Vrindavan? And Krishna says, yes, I am very happy. Then Radharani says, so if you are happy, then you have to do something for me. You have to give me happiness. So Krishna says, I want to do everything that makes you happy, Radhe. So Radharani says, then build a place in Vrindavan where I will find a lot of joy. So what Krishna does, already Radharani is happy, she is with Krishna, she is in Golok Vrindavan. But she is saying, I want a place which will give me a lot of joy. So what Krishna does, Krishna searched deeply within his heart the essence of his own love. And when he searched it, the essence of Krishna's love grew it came out as a small stone, a pebble. Pebble is smaller than a stone. Then it grew into a stone. Then it grew into a hill. And then it grew into Giriraj. So this is how Giriraj's origin happens in Golok Vrindavan. Okay, but after some time, Krishna says, Radhe, it's time for me. I promised Brahmaji, I will go and do my earthly pastimes, right? So now I have to go, but I cannot go without you. You have to come with me. So Radharani says, Krishna, I will do anything for you. If you want me to come, I will come. I will come on the earth, but I have one condition. Krishna says, what is your condition? So Radharani says, my condition is I will go on earth, I will go on the Bhulo only if there is Vrindavan, there is Yamuna ji, and there is Giriraj ji, and there are gopis. Krishna says, don't worry. Everything is already taken care. And that's how, and we know, right? Even when Radharani was here, she didn't care to go to Mathura or Dwarka, right? She was happy in Vraj. So here also she said, I will go only when all these things are there. And Krishna says, okay, I will. I have made sure that everything is there. So that is how Radharani and Krishna came, and Giriraj ji, Yamuna ji, Vrindavan, everybody was there. And how beautiful Govardhan was, because Radharani wanted that, right? So when Radharani wants something, it is always beautiful. It's not mediocre. So Govardhan had the best of waterfalls, the best of fruits, the best of greenery. Everything was top class there. Okay. And that is how the pastime actually unfolds. Now, when in Satyug, Govardhan actually takes birth. His father's name was Dronachal. So there was Pulatsi Muni. Pulatsi Muni comes and asks, he sees Govardhan and he goes to Dronachal and says that the place where I worship, Kashi, there is no mountain there. So I need a mountain. So can you give Govardhan to me? Now Pulatsi Rishi had a lot of power. So Dronachal was also sad. He didn't want separation from Govardhan, but they were scared. How can I say no to a Rishi, right? So he doesn't say anything, but Govardhan, he puts a condition. He says, okay, I will come with you, but I have one condition. What is the condition? The condition is I will come with you, but any place you put me down, I will not move. So you can hold me. By the power of Govardhan, only Pulatsi Rishi was able to hold Govardhan and start carrying him. But eventually, when they were moving over Vraj, what happens? This is very funny because I was hearing a class by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and he gives such a humorous way of explaining. Maharaj says, so at that time when they were moving over Vraj, now Govardhan has come as a playground of Radha and Krishna, right? So his appearance is there for a reason. So he was not there to go to Kashi. And now they're going over Vraj, and suddenly Pulatsi Rishi has a desire to answer the nature's call. Maharaj, so, jokingly Maharaj says, when there is an urgent desire, an urgent urgency to respond to nature call, first it whispers, then it speaks, then it screams, and then it roars. So that is how Maharaj is saying. So this is what happened to Pulatsi Rishi. And he knew, right? He cannot put Govardhan down. If he puts Govardhan down, he will not be able to carry him. But there was no choice. It happens and he has to put Govardhan down. And then when he comes back, he says, let's go. And he tries to lift. And Govardhan says, no, I already told you. Of course, this was all a Leela because Govardhan had to stay in Viraj only. So then Pulatsi Muni gets angry and he says, he gives a curse to Govardhan. Every day you will reduce by the size of a mustard. So that's the curse, and Giriraj very happily takes that curse. Why he takes that curse? Because when he came, he was very, very big, miles and miles long. And that much big would have been difficult for Krishna and his gopis to enjoy. So happily Giriraj takes that curse and every day he's reducing. Right now, I forgot, some measurement was written. 80 something, 80 feet or something. 80 feet. Right now Giriraj is 80 feet tall. And when Krishna came, he was about 2 miles. Okay. Then there's another reference of origin of Giriraj, and this is from the Bhavishya Puran. This I heard in a class. It says Radha and Krishna were sitting together and meditating, and out of them, Radha and Krishna, 21 energies came out. Out of those 21 energies, 10 energies became the 10 forests, the different forests in Vrindavan. 10 became the villages near Vrindavan. So 20, and the 21st itself became Vrindavan. And then Radharani and Krishna's heart combined together, and from their heart emerged Giriraj Govardhan. So we can just imagine Giriraj Govardhan is a combination of Radha and Krishna's heart. Okay. Now, sometimes, of course, devotees and outsiders, they also ask, so is Giriraj Krishna or is Giriraj a servant of Krishna? Who is he? Right? So this is like asking, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Krishna or is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a servant of Krishna? You all know, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Radharani, right? Same way, Giriraj Ji is Krishna himself, but he has come as a servant of Krishna. And for us practicing devotees also, it is better. Of course, he is Krishna, but better to consider him as a servant of Krishna. Because why? Servant of Krishna is more magnanimous than Krishna himself. And that is why Giriraj Ji is so magnanimous. Okay, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that among the caretakers of Vrindavan, and if we want Krishna Prem, there are a few personalities that we should worship. Who are those personalities? The first personality is Gopeshwar Mahadev, right? Gopeshwar Mahadev, there are so many devotees who have actually worshipped Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva has given them Krishna Prem and Krishna Bhakti. The second personality, who do we pray to get Krishna Bhakti? Who did Srila Prabhupada make sure that we pray every morning? Tulsi Maharani. Radha Krishna Seva Pao, Ei Abhilashi. Srila Prabhupada made sure that we pray to Shri Tulsi Maharani every day, and she will give us entrance to Radha and Krishna's prem. The third is all our Guru Varga. Why our Guru Varga? Because the gurus that we have in our movement, they have come with the sole purpose of holding our hand and taking us back home to Godhead. So these are some personalities, and of course, Giriraj Ji. If we want entrance into the Nitya Leela of Radha and Krishna, we must surrender to Giriraj, Govardhan, and we must take blessings of Sri Giriraj Ji. Okay. Now let us see some of the reasons why the Lord enacted this Govardhan Leela. Now this morning when Rohini Nandan Prabhuji was covering this topic, he very beautifully elaborated. So we'll try to keep this short. Let's see. The first reason why Krishna had to enact the Govardhan Leela, everybody knows, to crush Indra's pride, right? This is a well-known fact and I don't need to elaborate. But there are many other reasons that have been given by acharyas. And the second reason is he wanted to remove his own footprints. Now, there's a story, you know, Krishna was on Govardhan and he was walking towards the Kunj of Chandravali. Now, Krishna, we knows, right? He takes service from everybody. Not like Radharani se service lena hai, ya ek hi gopi se service lena. Whoever serves Krishna with love, Krishna takes their service, right? So one time Krishna was going and he was going towards the Kunj of Chandravali and Govardhan sees that. Then Govardhan says, "Hey Krishna, where are you going? I have seen you. Why are you going?" So Krishna says, "Shh, don't tell, huh? Don't tell Radharani. Don't tell that I'm going there." Govardhan says, "Why will I not tell? I will tell." Then Krishna uses this trump card and he says, "Govardhan, don't you love me?" So Govardhan says, "Okay, I love you, but I love Radharani more." So there's only one thing I can do. I can stay neutral. So I will not say anything. But she will find out that you went to Chandravali school. And Krishna is like, "How will she find out?" "Arey, your footprints. She's so smart, she'll come up and see your footprints have gone to Chandravali school. So she will find out." Oh, Krishna is like, okay. So another reason for Govardhan Leela was when all this water that Indra was pouring, all the footprints of Krishna got erased. And Krishna, when he was holding Govardhan on his left hand, left pinky, he looks at Govardhan and winks and says, you know, "See now? See? You see? No more footprints." So that was another very sweet reason. Then, long back, you know, the hills. This is the third reason. The hills, long time back, the hills had wings. Okay? So they could move from one place to another. They could talk, they could move. So they were moving from one place to another. Now Indra thought, this is very annoying. Hills are not skinny and lean, right? Big, fat, bulky. So these big bodied hills are moving from one place to another. This doesn't look nice. So Indra chopped off their wings. And the hills were very, very angry on Indra. And they go to Krishna. And they say, Krishna, look at what Indra has done. He has chopped off our wings. We have come into your shelter. So you have to do something. So Krishna says, okay, don't worry. And this was another reason where, to satisfy the hills, Krishna performs this Govardhan Leela and humbles Indra. Of course, that's also to show that Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that my devotee shall never perish. Krishna fulfills that promise of his, right? So the hills had come under shelter of Krishna. And this is one very important reason to reciprocate with all the devotees. So I don't know how many of you have seen that WhatsApp forward when we had the first lockdown. Did anybody see that forward where Govardhan Leela was mentioned? And the forward said something like the first lockdown. Because for 7 days and 7 nights, what was happening? Was anybody going out? Was anybody coming in? Was anybody doing anything? 7 days and 7 nights, they were all under the shelter of Krishna, spending time with Krishna. So when I was preparing for this class, that point came to my mind. Now, this is very sweet because when this Govardhan Leela was happening, Krishna was with Gopa friends. He was with Gopis, Radharani. He was with Yashoda Maiya, Nanda Baba, all the trees, everybody. Now, you know, the Gopis, they used to do Surya Puja. And what was the reason the Gopis used to give for doing Surya Puja? We want a good husband. That's what they used to say, right? We are doing Surya Puja to get a good husband. But internally, the Gopis were begging Surya Dev that please, you know, can you increase your speed? Can you walk faster? Because when you walk faster and you increase your speed, what will happen? Night will come fast, Krishna will come back and we can spend time with him. Simultaneously, the Gopas were praying to Chandradev. And the Gopas said, why were you praying to Chandradev? Because Chandradev gives the juice. The juice and all the vegetables and fruits comes from Chandradev. So you want to be healthy, then the Gopas are saying, we want to be healthy, that's why we are praying to Chandradev. But internally, they were praying to Chandradev and saying, can you move faster? Because when you move faster, Suryadev will rise and we can go for Gocharan Leela with Krishna. So many devotees had so many desires. It is said that all the rasas were simultaneously getting exchanged in Govardhan Leela. See, either Krishna is killing a demon, so he is in Veer Ras, or he is with Radharani, so he is in Madhurya Ras, or he is with Yashoda Maiya in the Vatsalya Ras. But here, simultaneously, all the rasas were getting fulfilled. So this is a very important reason because Krishna didn't know in the sense he could not understand how to reciprocate with all the devotees simultaneously. And this he thought was the best way, 7 days and 7 nights. Another reason, Krishna is monopoly God. If you love Krishna, he will make you love him only. There is no deviation. It's not like you love Krishna and then you love somebody else also. You love Krishna, you love him with all the heart. Krishna wanted to end the demigod worship. And that was another reason why he manifested this Govardhan Leela. And then another important aspect for us devotees, because we are practicing sadhakas, it is a very hope-giving Leela. How many of us have heard the word Vaishnav Aparadh? How many have not heard the word Vaishnav Aparadh? So Vaishnava Aparadh is an offense that we commit towards other devotees. And it is very elaborate and it can get very frightening also at times, scary at times. Because one of the Vaishnava Aparadhs is if you don't smile when you see a devotee is a Vaishnava Aparadh. So I was like very wobbly. So every devotee I have to see, I should smile because I'm doing a Vaishnava Aparadh. So now this can create a fear in our heart. Now think about Indra. What did he try to do? He tried to kill the Vaishnavas, and not ordinary Vaishnavas, topmost Vaishnavas. He had malice in his heart, and he actually wanted to finish all the Vaishnavas. Right? That is why he did this whole Leela. But what Krishna does in the end? Forgives. And he says to Indra, I just wanted to curb your pride. I don't want to take your position, but I wanted to change your disposition. Saying that it gives a lot of hope to all us sadhakas that we may have, of course, this should not be taken that, okay, see, in one sense, this should give us hope, and simultaneously there should be a healthy fear also. Because we all know Brahma Vimohan Leela. Brahmaji also commits Vaishnava Aparadh, right? He also takes away the cowherds and the cows and everybody. But he does not want to murder them. He takes them for 1 minute. Here for 7 days and 7 nights. But Krishna is very harsh on Lord Brahma. At the same time, he is very lenient on Indradev. So Krishna's mathematical calculations are difficult to understand. Very difficult to understand. So we should be fearful, but we should be hopeful. There is hope. Krishna loves us. He does not hate us. He hates the anartha within us. He did not hate Indra. He hated the pride that Indra had. Now, because pride is a desire. It is just like lust, which is a desire. Okay, so this is a very hope-giving Leela. Now, all of us are hearing, this morning we heard Govardhan Leela, again we are hearing Govardhan Leela. We can ask, right, why every festival we hear the same thing again and again? So, this is also mentioned in Garga Samhita, what happens when we hear Govardhan Leela on the Tithi of Govardhan Puja. So it is said, if we hear the Govardhan Leela on the Tithi of Govardhan Puja, then in this body, we enjoy like Devaraj. Okay? And after leaving this body, we enjoy like Nandaraj. So enjoy like Devaraj is understood, right? Lot of material opulences. But what is enjoy like Nandaraj? After leaving the body, enjoy like Nandaraj means in the association of Krishna, in his closest association, and serve Krishna. How did Nanda Baba be in the association of Krishna? By serving Krishna, right? So that is the results of hearing this pastime of Giriraj Govardhan. So let's quickly touch upon the pastime of Giriraj Govardhan, what actually happens on that day. So 5,000 years ago, the Brahman Patni's Leela had just ended. What was Brahman Patni's Leela? Where they had fed Krishna so much and Krishna was full, and then Krishna said, now go back to your husband. And they were not ready to go. Krishna had to send the Brahman Patnis, please go. And now when Krishna is coming back after that Leela, what happens actually? He sees everybody is so busy, going here and there, getting one pot, putting fire, collecting so many ingredients, and he sees everybody very busy. And he asks Nand Baba, what is happening? Why is everybody so busy? What is the sacrifice that you are preparing for? And then he says, is this something that is passed on from generations, or is it written in the scriptures? Are you having a guru to do this sacrifice for you? What is happening? And Nanda Baba just ignores Krishna. Krishna is just 7 years old. So Nanda Baba ignores Krishna and doesn't want to answer. So Krishna says, you should answer me. If you don't answer me, you hide things from enemies, not from your family members. I have to carry on this tradition. So you should tell me what's happening. So Nanda Baba, out of love for Krishna, he says, okay, Krishna, I'll tell you what is happening. We are going to perform Indra Puja. And Krishna says, why? Why are we going to perform Indra Puja? Because Krishna, we are Vaishyas. We are the people who take care of cows, and cows need grass. And grass will not go and grow until we get rains. So Indra gives us rains. So we are worshipping Indra. So Krishna says, Arey, Indra is supposed to give us rains. You don't have to worship Indra to give us rains. That is his job. If somebody has a job to do, you don't have to externally go and beg them to do that job, like a vending machine, right? If you put money in the vending machine, it is going to give you, right? You don't have to do aarti of vending machine, then only it will give you, right? Or you pay the electricity bill will be there in the house. So you don't have to do. This is his job. No, Krishna, this is not. We have to do it. No, Krishna says you are doing wrong. And anyways, Indra doesn't do so much, that much Govardhan does for us. Govardhan gives us fruits, Govardhan gives us grass, our cows are dependent on Govardhan. So actually, if you want to worship someone, you should worship Govardhan. That's what Krishna says. And Nanda Baba, just to please Krishna, he says, okay, Krishna, what we will do is, we will worship Indra first, and then we will worship Govardhan. Krishna says, no, worship only Govardhan. Then Nanda Baba says, okay, we'll worship Govardhan, then we'll worship Indra. No, only worship Govardhan. And just to satisfy, finally, Nanda Baba is like, okay, Krishna, we'll do as it pleases you, but we don't know anything, how it has to be done. You have to tell us. Don't worry. We'll tell you, I'll tell you everything that has to be done. And then Krishna makes sure that everybody goes with opulent stuff and goes to Govardhan. And so much food stuff is taken, so many happens, so it's like there are musical instruments, and with a lot of pomp and show, they worship Govardhan. And Krishna manifests himself as Govardhan. And you know what's funny? Krishna says, now go, offer your foodstuffs. So they are offering now. The Brajvasis are thinking, at least with Indra, this food stuff would come back to us. Now, if we give to Govardhan and he does not give us anything back, we will be left with nothing. Because when they look up at Govardhan, they see it's all Krishna. Eyes are like Krishna, fingers are like Krishna. And they are looking and saying, doesn't this Govardhan look like our Krishna? And Krishna says, Hare, don't look at his face. Bow down, bow down, bow down. Take blessings of Krishna, blessings of Govardhan, and just offer. So like this, the pastime happens, and after eating everything, Krishna in the form of Govardhan returns everything. And then now all the cowherd boys and girls and the gopas and gopis, everybody go back to their work. They go back to their work. And now Indra is super angry. He is in a furious rage. And he said, what actually is happening? These people have listened to a 7-year-old boy and not worship me, but worship the stone. And just think about it. It's not like Krishna said, instead of Indradev, worship Agnidev or Vayudev. Worship a stone. Can you imagine the ego of Indra that must have been hurt? Super hurt. And he becomes very angry and he calls for the Samvartaka clouds. And the clouds are like, why have you called us? This is not the time for annihilation. They don't worry. Don't ask me extra questions. Just do as I say. Go on Viraj and pour water. So they go, and there is immense rain, and Vrajvasis, what do? Now this is a very important point for all of us. When Vrajvasis had any problem in their life, they would come to Krishna. Just like, in Mahabharata, there is a character by the name Uttara. She was carrying Parikshit Maharaj, and when Brahmastra came, Ashwathama's Brahmastra came, that time she was surrounded by all her father-in-laws. who were the Pandavas, such powerful warriors. And who does she call out for help? Krishna. Krishna, save me. So that is a point that we should all learn. When we are in trouble in our life, we should practice to call out to Krishna. And the Brajvasis called out to Krishna. Any other character that you think from Mahabharata? Perfect. Draupadi had this perfect quality. Whether she was happy or she was sad, she would always remember Krishna. So, anyways, so the Brajvasis, Krishna, Krishna Mahabhav, please help, help. Look at what Indra is doing. And Krishna says, don't worry, I'll protect you. And Krishna, on the left hand of his pinky, and not only on the pinky, you know how Krishna lifted Govardhan hill? On the nail of his left hand pinky. Now just look at it, how small it is. And this was a message that Krishna was giving, that no matter who comes, what comes in the life of devotees, Krishna's hand is there. And he lifted Govardhan and so many wonderful things happen. It's very, very, what actually happens under Govardhan during those 7 days is another 1 hour class. Where like Krishna is moving and then suddenly Krishna looks at Radharani and he starts twisting and turning, and Yashoda Maya is getting angry on Govardhan. So Govardhan, you have no mercy on my 7-year-old boy? You're increasing your weight? I will curse you. And Govardhan gets scared. I don't want Yashoda Maya's curse. So Govardhan starts to go up so that Krishna is like, I am trying to put my image in front of these gopis and you are floating in the sky. Come down. And Govardhan is like, no, I don't want to come down. Why? Your Maya will curse me. And Krishna is like, come down. And then gopis are telling Krishna, don't think you are lifting Govardhan. Radharani is carrying you in her heart and she is lifting you and the weight of Govardhan. And Krishna is like, where did this come from? So that is happening. And then another, what else was happening? Subal was trying to lift Govardhan. Why? So that, let me lift Govardhan so that Krishna has some time to relax his hand. And then he says, okay, at least move your hand. From left hand, take it on right hand. This is what Subal is saying. And then Madhumangal, don't worry, Krishna, I'm standing next to you. And here I'm chanting all my mantras, Brahminical mantras. With my Brahminical mantras, you can lift Govardhan. Don't worry. And this, and so much like drama is happening over Govardhan. And then finally, 7 days, 7 nights, rains come. Nothing happens. And Indra is like, he sends his reporters and he asks, what happened? How many dead bodies did you find? And the reporters said, dead bodies? We didn't find any dead body. We didn't see anybody in Vrindavan. But yes, we found a mountain floating in the sky. And Indra is like, what? And then not only a mountain floating in the sky, under the mountain, there were a lot of people and they were dancing and sitting and cooking and eating and doing what all. And there were, so when Govardhan was lifted, it was not like dirty or anything. Everything was very clean. There were proper place to stay. Greenery was there and everything. So not even one Vaishnav was hurt. Not even one Vrajvasi was hurt in this Govardhan Leela. And when Indra says, I will go and see myself. So he comes on Airavat. And what does he see? When he comes on Govardhan, he sees that Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra is moving so fast that all the water that is getting poured, it's not even able to reach. It's all getting on the sides. That is what is happening. And not only that, all around Govardhan was Anantashesh forming a boundary wall. So that water that was flowing, it could not even come inside because Anantashesh had made that boundary wall and everything was, all the water was going away. And it is said that not even a leaf on Govardhan got destroyed. Not even one Vaishnava under Govardhan got destroyed, got hurt. And what to say under Govardhan? I'll end with this. There was a Vaishnav on top of Govardhan. He also did not get hurt. So who was the Vaishnav on top of Govardhan? So there's a story. We know Lord Shiva gives amazing Bhagavatam classes. And Mother Parvati, she is the best audience because of the right questions that she asks. So Mother Parvati, once Lord Shiva was giving a Bhagavatam class, and he says that Krishna eats through the mouth of his devotees. That is why we serve prasad, right? When we serve prasad, devotees eat. That is Krishna eating. So she became very inspired and she said, I will invite a Vaishnav to my house. And she tells Lord Shiva, today I have invited a Vaishnav to my house. And Lord Shiva says, okay, wonderful. Who have you invited? So she says, I have invited Kumbhaj Rishi. So when Lord Shiva hears the name Kumbhaj Rishi, he gets very, very scared. And he says, what? You have invited Kumbhaj Rishi? You should have at least asked me. So Mother Parvati is like, why are you so scared? What is wrong in inviting Kumbhaj Rishi? He says, no, there's nothing wrong in inviting Kumbhaj Rishi. But Kumbhaj Rishi's appetite is like, voracious, very big appetite. So you won't be able to satisfy Kumbhaj Rishi. And Mother Parvati is like, I will not be able to satisfy? You're talking about me, Lord Shiva? I have 1,500 servants and I have so many cooks and I have such a big place and I will cook. I will make sure that there will be enough prasad. Don't worry. So Lord Shiva says, okay, don't tell me that I didn't warn you. I warned you. Okay? Now if something goes wrong, don't call. So Mother Parvati says, maybe Lord Shiva is exaggerating, nothing like this will happen. Anyways, Kumbhaj Rishi comes and Mother Parvati starts serving. Now when Mother Parvati is serving Kumbhaj Rishi, you know how we serve? We'll take a ladle and we'll serve. Then we'll take two. Normally we'll serve 2 times, little. And then we'll wait for the person to say yes or no. And then the third. So then Mother Parvati didn't get a response. So she asked Kumbhaj Rishi, can I serve you little more? And so Kumbhaj Rishi replies, what is this little? Can I serve you little? Pour the whole bucket. So Mother Parvati was like, pour the whole bucket? Yeah, pour the whole bucket. So she pours the whole bucket and then she thinks maybe now it will be, Lord Shiva said he's a good eater. So it's okay. Maybe he'll eat 1 bucket, 2 buckets, 3 buckets, 4 buckets, 10 buckets, 20 buckets. Eventually, it reached to a point where Mother Parvati had prasadam left for a small kid. That's all that was left. Now Mother Parvati doesn't know because she doesn't want to offend Kumbhaj Rishi. That's a Vaishnav. And she wants to call Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva had said, don't call me. Don't call me at all. So Mother Parvati doesn't know what to do and she calls Krishna. And he says, Krishna, I will be part of Vaishnava Aparad. I will not be able to satisfy a Vaishnava. Please help me. So Krishna says, don't worry, I'll come. Krishna comes in the form of a small boy. And guess what Krishna says? I am hungry, give me prasad. So Krishna says, Mother Parvati is like, I called you to save me. Have you forgotten? I don't have prasad. Hare, Maya, give me just 1 plate of prasad. So Mother Parvati gives that plate of prasad to Krishna, and Krishna now starts banging on the floor and throwing his feet, and he says, I want to sit next to that Rishi and eat. And Kumbhaj Rishi is seeing all that drama happening of children, how it happens when children get angry. So he says, don't worry, let his plate come here. He can eat with me. So Krishna takes 1 bite of food and then he says, I'm done. And he asks for water. So Kumbhaj Rishi says, Are you just took 1 bite and you are saying you are done? So Krishna says, I'm not like you who's eating for hours and hours and hours. I am satisfied. Now give me water. So somebody gets water. Now in Vedic tradition, when you wash your hands, when everybody is sitting together, when one person washes their hand, everybody stops eating. It's an etiquette. So, and what Krishna does, it's so funny. Krishna not only takes water to wash the hands, he splashes the water all over. So now that water has been splashed on Kumbha's Rishi also. So now Kumbha's Rishi has no way to escape, but he has to get up. And then eventually Krishna shows his form to Kumbha's Rishi, and Kumbha's Rishi says, "My lord, I am very, very sad. Not only did you not let me eat full prasad, you did not even let me drink water." Because Kumbha's Rishi had to get up right away. And then right away means you're up, means up. There's no drinking water, you're up. You did not even let me drink water after eating my meal. So Krishna says, "Don't worry, I will give you lots of water to drink." So when this Leela of Govardhan is happening, that time Krishna calls for Kumbha's Rishi. And Kumbha's Rishi is on top of Govardhan, and all the water that is pouring down, Kumbha's Rishi is taking all that water. So with this I'll end here, but there's one point that I want to say. Sometimes, we very casually take Indra's name and say this Leela, but we have to understand that Indra is no ordinary person. He is the king of demigods, and Krishna chose him to enact this Leela to give us a message that no matter whether it is Indra or whether it is Brahma, everybody can get delusion. But if we have mercy of Krishna and if we have bhakti in our heart, then Krishna will protect us. So with that, let us all pray to Giriraj Govardhan to give us entrance into Krishna Leela and give us Krishna prayer. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Bhagwan ki, Govardhan Puja ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Oh, sorry, I forgot to move the slides. Okay. So anybody has any questions or comments or corrections, please feel free to share. Otherwise, please have prasad.
So inspired. Thank you. It was so nice.
Thank you.
Hari bol. 3 times. Hari bol. Hari bol.
Thank
Hari
you,
bol.
thank you, Mataji. Please pray.